In the 3 years since I've started Treadaway Training, this has never happened to me before. Let's go check out the package that's sitting on the front porch. Etekcity sent me a body fat scale for a review on my website. And since I'm already going to be doing a review there, which by the way, I'll have that link down below if you want to check that out, what I figured we could do here is do a little unboxing video. I'll include the setup of the scale, my thoughts on it, my initial impression, and then after I use it for a week or two, compare it to the Renpho scale, which I actually reviewed in a video a couple weeks ago, which I will link up in the cards. Myself. Maybe I should start working out. We have some plain cardboard packaging. Totally just destroyed the packaging. I should probably pull the little tab. I am not an unboxing channel, so you'll probably already figured that out. We have our instruction manual, it looks like. Extra year warranty. So basically sign up on their website, it looks like. All right, we have the scale, which I didn't do an unboxing of the Renpho scale. I had already owned it for probably a month or so before I did the review on it, but the packaging for it was pretty much identical. That's pretty much it for the packaging. So all we have in the package, we have the instructions, the little thing to join their website, and then we have the batteries that are already inside. Get that there. Oh, they gave us some actual name brand batteries. With the Renpho scale, theirs was kind of some temporary batteries, and actually it says on the packaging to remove those batteries after a month. It specifically says temporary batteries. So it is nice. They actually gave some Energizer batteries here. Put this cap back on. Let's peel this sticker off. What I'll do next is I will actually flash to my phone screen. I'm gonna do a recording of setting up the app. So one quick note before we move forward. There is a VSync app, and then there is a VSync Fit app. Me just getting ahead of myself, I downloaded the VSync app when for this scale you need to download the VSync Fit app. So I kind of had to spend about 15 minutes figuring out why my scale wouldn't connect to the app. While skipping all that, I went ahead and downloaded the VSync Fit app. Now let's go ahead and connect the scale to the app. So I've placed the scale here in the floor. Nice management. Oh, it already found it. And there is my measurements. It's about roughly what I weighed this morning according to the Renpho scale, but my body fat listed in the Etekcity scale is about 2 times what my actual body fat is. Now, I haven't eaten anything yet today, but I have had coffee and water. So what I will do is let me switch over to the Renpho app, and I've actually have the Renpho scale right here. So I'm gonna place this one down and see what it says in comparison to that one. We'll see if the fact that I've had water and coffee today, see if that's actually impacting what it's reading for the body fat. So let's switch over to the Renpho app, and then let me step on the scale here. Try not to bump the camera that's right in front of me. Yeah, so this one's saying 14.4% body fat. This one does read a tiny bit high. I'm probably about 12 or 13% body fat right now. So that still reads a little bit high, but that's consistently the number that it gives me because I do have a little bit more body fat in my lower body than my upper body. If you want to know how these scales work, I actually covered that in my Renpho scale review, so I will link that again up in the cards. Let's go ahead and step on the Etekcity scale again. So we have the VSync app open for the Etekcity scale. We step on again and see if it gives me another crazy number. Yep, so that is a hard strike against, and then I just got another measurement. Didn't even step on the scale and I just got another measurement. And it's sending me measurements that I'm not stepping on the scale. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to contact the individual who sent the scale to me and see if maybe they can send me a replacement unit. Maybe this is just one crazy defective unit. Maybe it got dropped on the way here or something crazy like that. So I'm not gonna hold it against them if they can get it replaced and the new one is correct. So I guess we're gonna have to press pause on this video here, and I will see you guys whenever I am able to get in contact with the representative who sent the scale over. We'll see what they have to say. And we're back. I've been using the Etekcity scale for about 3 weeks now, and it's been an interesting 3 weeks. I did contact the individual who sent me this scale to address my concerns about it possibly being a defect, and those concerns were unfortunately dismissed. In the 3 weeks that I've been using this scale, about half the time that I've stepped on it, it has given me duplicate measurements. That doesn't necessarily matter just because they are duplicates, so it's not like it's affecting the little charts that the scale will show over time or anything like that. But you know, it is kind of annoying to have that sound ding a few times every morning. And then also, almost half the time that I've stepped on this scale, it has failed to record the bioimpedance data, meaning it only captured the weight. So the body fat and basically every other measurement other than the body weight was not captured. So then I'd have to step back onto the scale and I would have to measure myself twice, almost half the time that I stepped on the scale. So this unit is most definitely defective. I think it might have been dropped or something, you know, while it was being delivered maybe. But that all being said, I'm not going to hold that against this unit, and here's why. If you were to purchase this scale from Amazon or something like that, and it arrives and it's defective, you can just ship it back. You know, there's an equal chance that this scale could have been the one that was dropped on the way here. So I'm not gonna hold the fact that it's somehow damaged internally or something like that. I'm not gonna hold that against this scale. So I wanted you to be aware of all those things, but I am going to let those things slide in terms of comparing these two scales head to head. Also, I did learn why this scale was giving me such a high number for the body fat estimate, and that's because when I made an account for the app, it was supposed to prompt me to put in my age and my height for those things to be considered in the calculation for estimating the body fat percentage and all the other things. But for whatever reason, it did not prompt me to do that. And just to make sure, I did go back and make another account, and it did give me the prompt to input those things. So for whatever reason, it had me defaulted as January 1st, 1990, and 5'7", and in reality I'm 6 foot and I was born in 93. So those two things, once I corrected them, it did give me a much closer estimate for the body fat. It gave me 19.4%. Still off, but significantly closer, and we'll come back to that here in just a minute. Now, with all those issues out of the way, let's compare these two scales head to head. And you probably noticed from earlier in the video that the two apps are pretty much identical, so that category is a draw. You can add friends and you can see each other's data also in both apps, so again, that's another draw. The Renpho scale will sync with Fitbit, Google Fit, and Samsung Health, while the Etekcity scale will only sync with Google Fit and Fitbit. And I do have a Samsung Gear S3 watch, and I do use Samsung Health, so having that option is a big plus for me, so point Renpho. The Etekcity scale does have a slightly larger surface area, making it a little bit easier to stand on. It doesn't look like much of a difference, but it actually is noticeable when you're standing on the scale. And I don't know if you can see it really well in the video, but the contacts on the Etekcity scale are also bigger than they are on the Renpho scale. So it is a little bit easier to stand on, especially if you're somebody who, if you have wider hips, you have a wider stance, you have to stand with a narrow stance to stand on this one. It's a little thing, but it is noticeable. So point Etekcity. Now it's time to talk price. Which one of these two scales is more affordable? At the time of recording, the Etekcity scale cost $39.99 on Amazon, and the Renpho scale cost $23.99 on Amazon. Renpho. Lastly, we're gonna revisit the topic of accuracy, because after all, accuracy is the most important factor to consider when looking at this type of product. The reason why the Renpho scale was more athletic for me is because the Renpho app has a toggle for athletic mode. And when you toggle on athletic mode, what that does is it tells the app that you work out a lot and that you have more muscle mass than the average person. So it takes that into consideration when estimating your body fat percentage. And unfortunately, the Etekcity scale with the VSync Fit app, it does not have the athletic mode toggle, so it doesn't take that into consideration when estimating your body fat percentage. And that's why the Etekcity scale estimates my body fat percentage to be slightly higher. So the Renpho scale pulls out a narrow win, but in my mind, it really boils down to three things. One, how often do you lift weights? If you lift weights often, then you'll want to go with the Renpho scale. If not, then either one of them will be perfectly fine options because you won't need that athletic mode. Two, do you use Samsung Health? Like I said earlier, I do use the Samsung Health app. So for me, again, Renpho. But if you don't use Samsung Health, which I'm sure is a lot of people out there, you can go with the Etekcity scale. So the last thing is, how much is a larger surface area worth to you? If a larger surface area to stand on is worth $16 more to you, there you go with the Etekcity scale. It's not that much of a price difference that it's an unreasonable thing to consider. So those three things is really what I think is gonna separate these two and what's going to influence or should influence your decision the most when it comes to purchasing one of these two. Ultimately, the decision's up to you. I'll have the link for both scales down in the description below. If you do use one of those links to purchase one of these scales, it will help out the channel and I do appreciate that. If you want to know how these scales work, I'll have that video linked down in the description as well and in the end cards. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. If you want more content on strength, muscle growth, fat loss, all of that type of thing, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, or you can join us on the Treadaway Training Blogcast. We are there every Sunday at 3 p.m. That is treadawaytraining.com/blog. As always, God bless you and your family, and we'll see you tomorrow.